This is Black Market Leadership, the underground resource for disruptors and status quo breakers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jodi McCall from Black Market Leadership, and I'm going to guest host a podcast today. I know it's usually Kevin, but we're going to change it up. So I'm going to actually interview Kevin because he keeps talking about Black Market Leadership in this website that he has created, and I've been helping him with. But what is that all about? What are we actually talking about here? So that's what this podcast is about today. What is this website, and why would any of us want to actually join it? So with that, let's all say hi to Kevin.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Jodi. This is really exciting.
Not a problem. Thank you for having a podcast channel where I could guest host. So, we've talked a lot in podcasts and stuff about Black Market Leadership. So I want to ask you, what is Black Market Leadership and what inspired you to start this website?
Well, I wanted to make a special community for leaders who are just not happy with leadership development today. As you know, I've been in this industry for over 20 years now. And to be nice, I've been very unimpressed with some of the content out there. You're always hearing me complain, really? Really? You're putting that out? Oh my God. I could have got that from a fortune cookie. So, I just wanted to do something new. And one thing that I have realized over, since being a lieutenant in the Army to working with some of these big companies, even, small growth companies to, Fortune 5, I've realized that there's one common denominator, and that is that a lot of leaders today, whether they're CEOs or brand new managers, just don't know how to deal with chaos. And chaos is a normal element of life. In fact, you and I just did a podcast about the fog of war, which is normal. That is a normal element. It's not an anomaly. So saying that, I wanted to bring the kind of education that I just don't think a lot of people are getting. And, you and I have had these conversations where if you look at LinkedIn, you hear so much about emotional intelligence and communication, which are very important elements, but that seems to be it in leadership development. And as you and I know, God, there's so much more. There's behaviors, motivators, maturity or adaptability levels. There's systems management, creating feedback loops, planning, strategic planning, culture, how to measure leaders, how to measure a leader of effectiveness, how to measure culture. These are things which I don't find are being taught today. So that's what I want to do, is bring that kind of education to people who are ambitious, who want to go that next step. So that's really it. If you're ambitious and you want to go to the next level, even get the kind of knowledge your boss probably doesn't have, I think Black Market Leadership will be your place for you.
Well, that sounds great. It sounds like that it's like a holistic approach to the process of leadership and dealing with people and getting the mission done, and really encapsulating all of it, not just the low-hanging fruit that a lot of businesses really target when they're trying to do leadership development, if they do it at all.
No, that's exactly it. The holistic part is incredibly important because, maybe it's because of my background in the military. We have a term in the Army, even the Marines, or I guess all the military units, services, called command. Now, you could never use that word in corporate America. People would cringe, right? They would totally cringe.
Absolutely.
But what command is really the integration of leadership and management. And in my experiences, if you want to work with senior level leaders, if you want to work with the people who sign checks and make decisions, you have to think above and beyond just relationships. They're incredibly important, but that's just one element. And as you and I know, mission and people, it's those two major pillars, but they could be really complex. And the question is, how do you leverage your people and create an organization that can streamline processes, that can create a bench strength of leaders, people who are available right now to take over if you're not in the office? That seems to be sorely lacking. So I really am interested in the in the holistic element. I'm not interested in helping people write emails. I could help you with that. That's not going to get you a bigger, better paycheck, at least in my experience.
So you'd say if, someone was more mission oriented, you would help them develop the people side of the business and how to balance both of them.
Yeah, if someone is very mission oriented, first of all, if you are mission oriented, that doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to lead a mission, how to write a mission statement. And I don't mean, a corporate mission statement. I mean an actual project or plan or initiative, how to write that, how to create an intent, how to create strategic or operational objectives and assign essential tasks, how to get everyone aligned to do that. So I can give you the toolkit to understand how to do a mission, but then I can give you the education about that other element, that other half of leadership, the people. You can't treat people like automatons, like machinery, right? Not cogs in the wheel. And that's what a lot of people who are very mission oriented can lean to under stress. And if you get that kind of holistic education, as we said before, I think it can really, really set you apart.
Mm-hmm. Who do you feel is the target audience for really growing from the experience of joining this community?
That's a fantastic question. At the beginning, when I first started doing this, I was like, maybe I can still work with 20-year-olds, maybe the early 30s. But then, you and I started working together in 2.5 years ago. You were a manager, going to be a senior manager, even being slotted to be a director. And I saw the benefits to you. So in a sense, who am I looking for? I'm looking for any kind of any person, again, who has the ambition, who wants to go to the next level. You could be 20 years old, you could be 50 years old. It doesn't matter, but you just have to have that desire to move forward and effectively to actualize your potential, but be happy doing it.
Now, what about someone that's like, oh, well, this sounds pretty cool, but I don't have any leadership experience. I don't have a job where I need to be a leader, but it sounds cool, but because I don't have that, I'm not going to join. What would you say to someone like that?
I would say, believe it or not, you still need it. You absolutely need it. Leadership development is not just helping lead others. There's elements of it of knowing with real certainty of who you are and what your value proposition is. As you and I have talked before, if you know who you are, your chances of you being successful in life are very, very high, because it takes away so many options, which appear to be good options in life, but they're really distractions. So one part about leadership development is leveraging your strengths. You want to leverage the strengths of your people. Well, the same thing goes to you. So, I do want to make the distinction, though. It's not necessarily life coaching at all, but there's a life coaching element to it. But first and foremost, it's about helping you drive a mission, drive a strategy, and actualize it. Now, that could be a corporate strategy. It could be your own personal strategy, whatever it is. But if you want to be professionally successful, even personally successful, there's so many lessons available in this kind of education.
So basically, it's leadership development for leading others, but it's also leadership development for leading self.
Yeah,
it's both.
I think it's absolutely applicable. So let me just say, for those listening, I used to always laugh. Leading yourself, that's kind of a contradiction. Leading means having influence over others. But I know there's a whole school of self-leadership. And yes, I think it's incredibly important. Knowing who you are, really knowing who you are, knowing where your talents are, knowing what are good opportunities and knowing what are not good opportunities can really, really help you have a successful, prosperous life.
So you kind of touched upon it a little bit, saying behaviors and motivators and dealing with chaos and stuff. But if someone joins the community, what can they expect to take away or learn? What are they really going to get out of it?
Oh, man. So in essence, Black market leadership is really divided into two sections. There's the educational piece, and that we have special courses. And I know we got to dive into this because our courses are cool. This is not a book club, and this is not reading some leadership book. In fact, Jodi and I have read enough of those, I feel. But what we do is we actually make it fun, and you can come in and actually take part in some of our tailored coaching programs. If you want actual one-on-one support, or at least be able to participate in live discussions, we have these courses where we watch movies, we watch series, and we really dissect characters and situations. So I would tell you, you get a really, really nuanced understanding. And I mean, you've taken part of this many times. Wouldn't you say that? I mean, to me, it's been life changing. What about you going through this experience?
I agree. I think it's life changing. I think it really helps, especially, you're diving into the streaming services element that you utilize to do the tailored coaching. I think it really helps an individual learn and develop the soft skills of leadership, which I find are the hardest things to try to coach and develop somebody in. So it's a very unique, fun way to do learning and to gain an education.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So that's one element, the education piece. Again, those are courses. We've have it so where you can be a free member or a paid member. Free members get to watch the content that we've recorded. You are in a lot of the videos. So the free paid members, in one sense, you can watch the videos, but if you're a premium member, you can actually participate in them and get the actual feedback. Courses are one element. We also have resources where we have reviews of books, movies. There's even professional documents out there, which I think are just absolute gems. But I guarantee you there are VPs in your company who've never heard of them. So we have those available with analyses, synopsis of them. We also have downloadable documents to support you in your current role. So it's resources, courses. That's the real educational piece, I think. The other element is the community, and that's a big one. As you know, as you and I have talked through in the past couple of years, how important is it to get a good network? You have to network. And, when you and I were diving into the People versus O.J. Simpson, what's the one thing we noticed about the defense team? When the Dream Team came, they brought their own network and systems and capabilities with them. Very, very important. So in Black Market Leadership, we also have a special community. Again, for free members, we give access to certain networking events, even maybe some select Q&As. But if you're a member, this is your opportunity to meet and align with like-minded people. And I tell you, that kind of networking, you get to meet people from different parts of the world, different parts of industries, and you see what's really out there. And maybe you might find a potential opportunity somewhere else if you're not happy where you're at now. So that the networking community element, I think, is really important.
Yeah, that's fascinating that it allows you to meet people from other walks of life, and there's an education piece to that in
Oh
and
my,
of itself, if you start a conversation with them. So that's fantastic.
yeah. One person who I've worked with, I introduced him to a book author, and the gentleman not the book author, but the person who was being introduced, always wanted to write a book, didn't know how. So talking to the book author, he's like, "Oh my God, this is doable. Oh, that's what you got to do." So in a sense, it really opened doors for that kind of that kind of knowledge and know-how. And the other thing is, when people from different communities, different backgrounds, when they work together to do like the tailored coaching, oh my Lord, the perspectives, the analyses, they're so different, but they're fascinating. They're really fascinating. And I think, again, building that nuance to the soft skills, seeing why some people say certain things and not others, how they behave, you can take those same elements and see them around the people you're with today. So it just ups your game. It really ups your game.
So we touched a little bit upon the tailored coaching using the streaming services, that in essence, it's you watch a movie or series on some streaming service and you have some options. You can go to the website and watch some videos of us analyzing it, or you can do that or you can participate in a facilitated conversation with others to discuss and analyze the show. That is such a unique platform to be coaching and developing people. where did that idea come from? How did you conceptualize that idea? Like taking something like People versus O.J. Simpson that is about, it's based on the real life events of a double homicide, and the lessons being taught from it are behavior strategies and team dynamics.
That's a great question. So you got to know me behaviorally. Not only am I'm a high dominant, and low pace, but I'm also low conformist, which means I'm a generalist and I can be very innovative. In fact, that's one of my strengths is innovation. That's why I use computer wargaming as a part of our facilitations, because years ago I realized playing this with some friends, I'm like, my God, there's some lessons in here. Why not use this? And I think this kind of goes to one of the strengths of black market leadership. If I can circle back for a second, in that I really like non-conventional resources like Netflix and Amazon, because again, when you watch a movie, people watch it to relax. But I remember watching these movies. I'm like watching People versus OJ. I'm like, oh my God, that's a deliberate strategy. That's an emergent strategy. I'm like, and excuse my language. I'm like, holy shit, I've been reading about this. So that's why I brought up, like, let's use it. And then we started using it with you and your teams. And I never forget the stories you would tell me. You had people from different departments trying to get inside those programs with you. I know people who take part of some of these leadership programs. They're like, oh my God, I got to do this. It's a nuisance. You had people begging to come in. So having that kind of feedback, it showed me, look, I did it. I liked it. Can others do it? Yes. So now that's a part of the program. I like using these non-conventional resources. But I think you would agree, though, you can't just use them. You got to be very smart, because there are a lot of traps. There are a lot of traps in watching movies and trying to take lessons from them.
Oh, yes, I totally agree. I don't think it's just watching a movie or series and rehashing it with friends. That is an element of it that I think always just naturally comes out. But really digging deep into whatever you've watched and number one, identifying, okay, there's something to learn here, but what is that something? When we've worked together on that, sometimes it's very easy and we can figure it out right away, and then we're into analyzing it. And other times we've argued, we've disagreed, and it's taken multiple iterations to really dive down to what is the root lesson that's going on and how is it teachable. So it is not like anybody can be the facilitator or teacher of that. But I think that's one of your future endeavors of, first element is the learning piece and rolling that out to the community. But in the future, you might have a program of certifications for teachers to facilitate, to teach how you could be a facilitator.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Certifications. That's down the pipeline. And you said it. That's one thing that's actually on our schedule to be rolled out probably in March or April. But Black Market Leadership, even though we have great content and videos, I don't want it just so you have access to videos. I want to be able to certify. So I'm kind of circle back to what you said earlier about using videos, or it's not just watch it and just give your analysis. On LinkedIn, I think a month ago I saw someone put an analysis. It was a one pager. It was like a blog on Moneyball. The leadership lessons of Moneyball: show character, show courage. And I started laughing because you and I did a 2.5 hour analysis, and what came up from that show: transformational leadership. If you're dealing with changes in your company, you got to watch this, but you got to know how to pick it apart. And if you pick it apart, all these lessons are absolutely pertinent. So it's one thing to watch it, but ultimately, I think we're going to have a certification program where not only do you watch the video, but you also get a downloadable PDF. We have quizzes, and maybe I might even have an exam on there. And if you hit a certain score, you could be officially certified. So that goes on your LinkedIn, that goes on your resume. And the goal is for you to not just understand it, but to be able to articulate the lessons learned and apply them. That's what I really want Black Market Leadership to be, is get these really, really complex subject matter, things which are sometimes only for directors and executives. Imagine being a brand new manager and talking about transformational leadership, not vague, but this is what we need to do. Boom, boom, boom. Boy, I just see dollar signs floating over your head. Your worth, your values improved.
Well, I used to work at a really big company and had exposure to, senior leadership. And I can assure you, I think there's a lot of directors and senior leadership that might be able to benefit from these kinds of lessons as well. So it really sounds like it's a holistic approach to learning. There is coaching and leadership, but it's leadership of others and leadership of self, really understanding who you are and your strengths and how to leverage them. And the unique, unconventional way about doing it, which really rides the wave of entertainment and fun.
Absolutely. And again, I've always said that if you study leadership or strategy, you can't just study those terms. You have to study the components in them. That's why I love bringing in resources or even movies about military history, business, philosophy. It's not academic. These things are out there in front of you right now. The better you know them, the better you understand someone's worldview, the better you can anticipate their actions and be able to influence them to support you. So that's, I think when you talk about being holistic, yes, it is holistic, but it's also unconventional because I like bringing in the types of resources that people just really don't use a lot. In fact, one of the resources that I love was a 9-minute discussion between my guys Siskel and Ebert. I grew up with them, and it's about finding your voice as a critic. Well, it's completely applicable to being a writer, to being a leader. That 9-minute little presentation or it's the give and take is a gem. You just got to know it's there, and that's my job, is to pluck those things out and show you. Because it could be fun. It could be really, really, I won't say earth shattering, but sometimes it could be like, wow, this has been in front of me this whole time. And I never realized it. And
is there,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And let me say, I think one of the catalysts for making this whole site, many times in my career, I've heard this. I wish I had known this 10 years ago. I've said it. I know you've said it before. I want to cut that. I want to get rid of that. I've worked with directors. I remember being 29 years old, working with a 45-year-old senior director, and the lessons he was learning now, I'm thinking to myself, I knew this when I was 23 years old. God, imagine if he had known this back then. So that really is my goal. It's to cut that time down, give you the kind of education that, man, you probably might get 10 or 15 years from now. Get it now. Really make your mark now.
That's fantastic. So is there something that we should know about this website and what you have to offer that I haven't asked you here today? Is there any piece of this that I have not touched upon?
Man, I don't know. You have some great questions. Go to the website, blackmarketleadership.com. You can join for free. I recommend join for free. Peruse the site. We have a news feed. You can see all the updates. You'll see us. You'll see Jodi. You'll see me. You'll see Mike, our marketing guy. And I think as of right now, we're brand new. We already have 15 people inside. We have an events calendar. Go on the events, see what's available. And right now, up till the end of March, like everything's free. So really take advantage of it, because in April, we're changing some of the memberships. So now it's the time to get involved. And I think the one thing that people need to recognize is the general gist of this site is this is not a school. This is not necessarily a school curriculum. Though we have a curriculum, there's no schedule attached. You can learn at your own pace. Jodi and you and I finished 25 hours of OJ. Now, we're not expecting you to watch it all, but we actually identified the top 5 things you got to watch if you watch that episode. We have quizzes, so go in, jump in at your own pace. And I would tell you, watch it with your families too. You'd be shocked. It's a lot of fun to get your husband or wives, or even your relatives get their feedback on these shows on how they relate to leadership and strategy. So yeah, I think you really hit it all. Did I miss anything?
I think you did fantastic. I think it was a great overview of the site, why you put it together, What was the inspiration behind it? And really, what is somebody that's going to join the community? What are they going to take away from it? What is the benefits to them? So I think that you really gave a very nice overview that touched upon everything that there is to offer. And that you're extremely passionate about it. You really want to help people.
I really do. And yes, thank you. And I really do. And I'm extraordinarily excited because as of right now, we have the series People versus OJ, which is available on Netflix. We have Moneyball, which is I think it's Netflix or Amazon.
I think it's on Netflix right now, but It's always changing.
We have The Founder finished, or the videos. We're doing final editing and finishing up that PDF book. Now we have Ford versus Ferrari, which we're going to tape. We have a new Netflix series. Well, it's not new, but I think it's actual Netflix, an Amazon Prime series. It's the Hugh Hefner story about Playboy. Well, great lessons of entrepreneurship. So we're going to be dissecting that. So the goal is to make this a fun, engaging, but a really valuable lesson. And I really hope people can watch the videos, watch the movies, the series, watch our videos and support, take the quizzes. Jodi, do we have cheesy quizzes, or they're really good quizzes? Wouldn't you agree?
I think they're really good quizzes.
So do I. I wrote them. I think they're great. And we have downloadable PDFs. So these are tools you can use. And I really want this to be the underground resource. This is not the safe stuff that so many companies do. This is not the safe. This is the stuff that's going to be, I can't imagine a big company bringing out a story about Playboy as a part of the program, but hell, there's great lessons in it. We're going to use it, right?
Hey, he was really successful, so he did something right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, that's really it. I'm really excited and I'm really jazzed about this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I want to say thank you, Kevin, for giving us that great overview about the website, and an additional thank you for letting me be a guest host on your podcast channel. It was a great experience and a lot of fun. And until next time, bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you like this content and want to hear other things like it, head on over to the website at blackmarketleadership.com. That's blackmarketleadership.com. There you can subscribe to the podcast, and you can even create a free members profile